And I'm with you with the area of ABFM. Okay, everyone, what are we going to talk about today? Today we are continuing with the specific topic further. I'm talking about our victory series. So let's proceed further and talk about a few questions. Okay, everybody, today we are going to talk about sensitivity analysis. What do you mean by sensitivity analysis, everyone? But there are different analysis. Sensitivity is basically how much something can affect you. Can it affect you badly or it cannot affect you that badly? That is to be covered in this specific area altogether. So in this case, the primary purpose of the sensitivity analysis in a project evaluation is because to calculate the net present value of the project, to identify the factors of impact of NPV, to determine the IRR of the project, or to evaluate the project's profitability. According to you, what should be the answer? Before I proceed further, everyone, please go ahead and share the session among your peers. Don't forget to like this session, and at the same time subscribe to our channel right away. Along with this, check out our courses as well. I'll be soon starting with another batch of ABFM. So if you are planning to look forward towards ABFM now, then kindly join that specific batch as well. That will be really helpful for you. Till then, what's gonna be the answer? Sensitivity analysis. Chali, when we talk about this specific question, what's gonna be the answer? To calculate the NPV, to identify the factors, or what exactly are we looking forward to, everyone? When we talk about sensitivity, now we are looking at something which is highly sensitive. Sensitive means which we are talking about sensitivity. Sensitivity means if that particular thing is affecting us badly or not. To identify the factors that impact the NPV. Anything which is affecting the NPV is to be seen. Next question. What is the limitation of sensitivity analysis? When you're trying to study something which is affecting our business, matlab it can be any factor, na? Term, time tenure of the business, number one. Number two can be what? Time period for the particular project, the cash flows, the discounting factor, or that's one of them, na? One is discounting factor, and discounting factor, and there's one more thing left. Cash flows, the change in the cash flows, initial investment. If the initial investment is less, then it is good. If the initial investment is more, then it is bad, है because you are spending too much and you are always waiting for more money in your future that you could get. So in this case, it provides a comprehensive view of the project risk. It only shows NPV and one variable in the change. Then comes, it is an objective method based on mathematical calculation. And then it is not affected by the perception of decision maker. The answer in this question would be, it only shows NPV and one variable at a time. The difference between sensitivity, number one is sensitivity and second is scenario. The difference between the two is sensitivity takes one factor at a time, while scenario takes multiple factors. Multiple factor changing at one point of time have a greater impact. Chale. So in this case, the answer is, it only shows NPV and one variable. Next question. What is the first step in performing sensitivity analysis? What is that first thing that we'll study, everyone? What's the first thing that will affect our business? Conducting an analysis of the project cash flows, identifying the factors of the impact of a project NPV, determining the range of change of each variable, or recording the result of each iteration. See, sensitivity analysis is clearly saying that you should study only one factor at a time. What's the benefit of studying only one factor at a time? I think when we study only one factor, na, that brings a lot of clarity. How does it bring a lot of clarity? Because we know ki how much of one particular asset we are using, or how much one variable is going to affect the utility of that particular project. Whether it's required for a longer period, shorter period, how is it even required? All those things have to be studied now. That is to be considered in this area. So in this case, conducting the an analysis of the project, identifying the factors. What is more important? I think the most important thing is identifying the factors. I need to identify the factors which can impact the project. What is the basis of Hillier model for risk analysis? Net present value, internal rate of return, payback period, or return on investment, everyone? What's going to be the answer? Hillier model is actually based upon which model? The name of this model is by the name of its originator as well. The name is Hillier only. According to his name, it was taken up, and he uses net present value. Even in the international decision making, decision analysis, all these area, NPV plays a very important role. And even in capital budgeting, it plays a very important role. How does it play an important role? Because capital budgeting helps us to understand whether we are getting the money, we are losing money, what's exactly happening with the money, all that particular part. Because net present value considers time value of money. Matlab practicality. If I want to know, if I tell you that after 3 months you might get 1 lakh, you may consider that part. But if I tell you after 10 years you get 1 lakh, you will be like, after 10 years, 1 lakh probably will not be nothing, will be actually nothing, not a very significant amount. Today, it might be a little significant, but after 10 years, I don't think that would be. So that's a bad part, right? Chali. So, the considering NPV method takes this part very seriously. Let's see, the value of the thing changes a lot. Done? Chali. Done now? Let's look at the next question now. The next question says a Hillier model measure the risk in cash inflows. Hilliard model actually studies the risk in the cash inflows by analyzing the correlation between inflows and outflows, or by calculating the standard deviation, by assessing the volatility of interest rate, or by determining the profitability index. Everyone, what's gonna affect us? Determining the profitability index? No, Hilliard model is not looking at profitability index. Then what is it looking at? It is looking at by calculating the standard deviation. What is standard deviation, everyone? Everyone, what do you mean by the term standard deviation? Standard deviation is actually known as the point where we look at the scenario where, see, we have an average. We have an average. When we have an average, then what will we do? If average is 10 and you have 8 or you have 12, in terms of your inflows, it's good if you have 12. But what about outflows? If we are losing, then it's actually bad now. Matlab, I'll always consider it as a bad thing. Why? Because when I'm getting the money in the due course, if I'm getting lesser money, it's bad. And if I'm getting more money, it's good. So if I'm deviating from the standard or I'm not able to make a decision, then things can really affect my business. So in this case, by calculating the standard deviation and the cash flows. In the Hilliard model, what is the assumption when cash flows of for different years are perfectly correlated? When things are correlated, matlab if we consider these things and try to find out the values there, na, in terms of correlation, we are trying to find the relationship between different forms of data. You know, if they are basically correlated, then what will happen? What is the assumption? If they are correlated, no risk is associated. No, it is not due to risk. The behavior of the cash flows in all these years, it's unpredictable. No, when it is actually correlated, means the data is linked. If the data is linked, then this problem should not occur. Cash flows are similar in all years. I cannot say it's similar. It vary widely in each year. It may vary or may not. What's going to be the answer according to you? The answer to this question is actually, it is very similar in all this year. It won't be same, everyone, but yes, it can be similar. Correlated can be called synced here. ठीक है ना? Next question. What is the purpose of simulation analysis? To create real life situations, to find the optimal decision under various scenarios, to deceive decision makers, or to conduct sensitivity analysis. See, when we have multiple things in our regular life, everyone, I don't think I can say only one variable works at one point of time. We might be hungry, we might be having short of time, we might be sleepless, and we would have been working upon multiple things already. So can you say that only one or the other thing was being affected? Or we have multiple things being affected? I would say multiple things are being affected. Hai na? So in this case, the answer would be what? To find the optimal decision under various scenarios. What if one thing, other thing, multiple things are being affected? What are exogenous variables in simulation analysis? Variable controlled by decision maker, variable determined outside the model, variable influenced by other factors, or variable with fixed values. What's going to be the answer, everyone? Exogenous variables, that means external variables which are affecting the organization. That is variables determined outside the model. Chaliye, let's move on and talk about the next question. What is the purpose of decision tree analysis? But the decision tree is a very reliable source. Decision tree analysis means I said that this is a decision that I want to take, but scenario is this. There's a yes, there is a no. If this is yes, obviously, then two or more situations can arise. Then here also. So if you do something and if you don't do something, both the things are going to affect your business now. What if you do it and what if you don't? In both the scenarios, you're working for the business will change. And if you're working for the business is going to change, then decision tree analysis has to be utilized to represent possible outcomes and associate probabilities graphically. Matlab you will say 10%, 20%, 30%, it has to be stated with that particular percentage as well. Done. What are the two elements of decision tree? We just talked about decision tree: probability and reward, branch and node, cost and time, decision and uncertainty. In this case, one of the basic things that you do is you have a branch and a node. This is the main branch and this is divided into different nodes. And then this is the branch, then it becomes two or more scenarios. ठीक है ना? When we have multiple things, and the things will definitely matlab multiple scenarios comes out of things. For example, if we study, then what will happen? If we don't, then what will happen? Then if we do the work, then what will happen? Professionally, what growth is available? Multiple points are there. Na? That means we have pros and cons of everything. Right? Chaliye. Next question. What is the optimal decision and decision tree analysis? See, I think when I'm studying a specific scenario, I just have to look at the entire scenario in a detailed format. Ki what things are coming up. The decision with highest probability, nahi. Highest probability, now we need to see the favorability of something. The decision with the lowest cost decision chosen at the starting point of the tree or decision with the highest estimated NPV. Everyone, while taking a decision, what is it that you will always check? Matlab, I'll always see what am I making out of it. है ना? So in this case, the decision with the highest NPV. It's not about what can happen, but what do we want is the decision tree analysis. Because obviously, not externally, everything is in our hands. But at the same time, if everything is not in our hands, there are other things which we can control. What if we can control a few things? And if we can control a few things, then why do we take decisions? Just on the basis of whatever can happen? It is always based upon the favorability. That if I take this decision, what favorable situation or outcome will come out of it? Which of the following is an example of controllable risk? Controllable risk matlab the risk which you can actually hold in your hand. You can decide how much you want. Fluctuation in the market price is not in our hands. Political instability, can we control who's going to be the prime minister? An individual cannot, है ना? Multiple people can, but we alone cannot. Then what's the next thing? Changes in government policy is not in our hands. Last is technological obsolescence. Is it in our hands, everyone? What is an example of controllable risk? Controllable and uncontrollable, two separate scenarios. है ना? The answer would be technological obsolescence. That is something which we can still control, but I don't think anything else is in our control. How can market risk be mitigated? By implementing disaster prepared plans, by diversifying the product or marketplace, by staying updated with the latest laws and regulations, by having insurance coverage. Risk can be actually just converted if we diversify it. Diversify it, matlab we give it to someone else as well. That means we are looking into the product, and if one part of the product doesn't work, the other part might. Done, everyone? Chaliye. That's it for the day, everyone. Thank you so much for being there. But before I end my session, have you taken up our courses yet? If you haven't, then what are we waiting for? Chaliye, let me show you our website. And if you're planning, then you can definitely go ahead and look out for our courses. Okay? So I'll just give you a preview of the entire thing. You need to go onto our website www.adda247.com. Go on to the area of JIB and CIB. Once you have entered the area of JIB and CIB, then go on to the specific area of CIB June 2024. Here you will find our Mahapack. Mahapack includes our optional as well as our the optional subjects, compulsory subjects, bilingual, English medium, everything included. If you're planning for a specific batch, that you can also take up our AIM batch. It is also coming soon. This is our AIM batch. It has actually already started. I think ABFM is starting soon as well. For this, what you need to do is use the code Y541. As soon as you'll use the code Y541, you can get that 77% discount. Download the app, you'll get for 78%. You can get for 5519. So hurry up and look forward to it right away, everyone. The time is ticking away and it might be helpful for you. So if you're planning, then go ahead and join our courses right away. Thank you so much for being there. Please like this session if you find it useful.